Hi, I'm Carissa. Welcome to Carissa Explains It All. I am Carissa. I explain it all. I think I said that backwards. This is the last of a 4-part series where I have detailed the last 6 weeks where I was going through a process of like backsliding, but not really. It was like healing, but it was like up and down, emotional whiplash, like all these things going on. So this is the last video in the series, and basically probably about maybe 5 days ago or so, I was feeling like I'm ready to get back on YouTube. I'm ready to move forward. But like my nervous system still didn't feel quite ready. I was like, I want to, I'm excited to, I'm like back in the flow of it. I can feel that I've kind of come out of the cave of like the subconscious and figuring out what's going on. So even though like I was ready to show up again, my nervous system's still like, I don't know. I just, like, and I couldn't really pinpoint what it was, but I could see it being reflected in my self-sabotage, really just my protective mechanisms of procrastinating. So I was like, I'm gonna be productive because I feel productive. I've got the energy, I've got the motivation, I want to do something. So like I cleaned the whole house, top to bottom. First time it's ever been done fully. Like everything's back in its place where it needs to be. It's organized or it's thrown out or given away or whatever. Like it's clean. And it feels really good. And I was like, okay, I'm ready. And I was like, but I'm not quite ready yet. Like still felt this like trepidation to get back on YouTube. And like, I was like, I should script some stuff. I should respond to all those comments that I never responded to because I went through the last 6 weeks of like not feeling great about it. So I was like, okay, I should be doing something. So I was like, all right, I'll sit. This was probably the day before yesterday. I sat down and I was like, I'm going to script. But I was like, but I should do calendar stuff first, right? Like I should like organize my calendar and like figure out like all the things. Not that I have a ton of stuff on my calendar, but just like I'm gonna write down the days I work. I'm gonna write down the days that I pay bills. And I'm like, okay, I guess I really should respond to comments now. And so like I open up my laptop and I'm just like, I see the first comment and it's a beautiful, wonderful, encouraging, loving comment. And immediately my breath hitches in my throat and I'm just like, like, I don't want to do this. And I'm just like, what is going on? Literally, I can see objectively in front of me, someone is saying something kind and appreciative. And my reaction in my body is to go, like, and I'm like, okay, all right, we need to get to the bottom of this. I talked in another video about like how I don't want to overuse ChatGPT and I was using it a lot in the last 6 weeks, but I'm like, I'm ready to be done with this once and for all. I'm ready to heal my nervous system out of feeling so afraid of whatever this is. Let's get to the root of this. So I broke out my trusty old friend ChatGPT and I like said everything that I just said to you, which is like just explaining the whole situation. I'm like, help me figure out what's going on. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like I feel like this, this may not be a universal problem if you don't do YouTube videos and have to respond to comments, but maybe it's something that comes up for you like when you're talking to friends or someone says gives you a compliment or says something nice to you and like you don't know how to receive it. And there's probably a myriad of reasons why we don't want to receive it, but for some reason receiving good energy feels unsafe. And what I got to from the conversation with ChatGPT was that for some reason we feel like there are strings attached to that good energy. So receiving that energy means there's going to be something expected of me that I don't want to do or I can't do, or they're going to withdraw their connection or good energy if I don't react in the way that they want me to. There's usually like something like that going on. So I was like, okay, what is it? Because clearly this comment that this person made was very nice. Like they're not expecting anything of me. I know that mentally, like logically. And there's no strings attached, right? This is just like through the internet. Like there's no relationship here. Like literally just nice. So why am I projecting that there's going to be strings attached? So I said this to ChatGPT. I was like, I find myself inexplicably shrinking away from the comments that gush love and appreciation and positivity. Like, what are they going to want from me? Which is so weird, right? The ones that like come with a problem, it like gives me direction and clarity and focus. And I'm like, oh, this is what I would do. Or like whatever. Like it doesn't feel like the strings are attached. So I'm just like, why the nicest comments ever? Why can't I receive those just with like, thank you and move forward, right? Like, why is it so hard? I said, I don't know if I'll be able to give them a response that they like and that they feel is reciprocated. So what's going on with that for me? And can you give me, because I know that's not healthy either. It's not healthy that I'm expecting that they're expecting that. Like I can see that that's very codependent. I just don't know any other way of being. So help. So it was like, I asked, can you give me some ways to deal with this? I'd love to respond to comments and not when it's time to respond to comments, not feel like I'm coming to it with like a sense of apprehension or like not dread. That's not the right word because I'm not dreading it, but just like I want to come to it and be like, yes, I'm excited to like respond and like to connect with people and interact. Like that feels like a healthy, empowered version of me. So like I don't want to feel this sense of like resistance or hesitance. So where's this coming from? So ChatGPT gave me a few like things that I can work on. It said, one, you can emotionally reframe this. Reframe their comment as a gift, not a transaction. That was huge. That felt like kind of relief in my stomach. Like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I guess I was expecting that there's a transaction rather like, because when I leave a comment on someone's video, I feel like it's a gift. I'm not expecting them to respond. I probably don't expect them to even see it, right? But I'm just like, I just want to show my appreciation that you went through the effort of putting this work out there and that's it. Right? And so why do I expect that there's more attached to it than that when people comment, right? The other thing to reframe is remember that presence is better than perfection. So people don't need the perfect reply. They just want to feel seen or heard. And so a simple and honest and warm response is often more than enough. And that was like, whoa, okay. Because I'm like expecting to have to like have the perfect response, right? And, you know, I don't need to. And allow yourself to be imperfect and practice receiving. Like that felt good. That comment felt good. I'm going to let this in. Okay, so then I was like, okay, those are all great, ChatGPT, but like I need a little bit more work on this particular thing. So the part where ChatGPT said reframe comments as a gift, I took that and went over my comments section. I read a comment and still felt that reflexive hitch of breath in my throat. ChatGPT said, that hitch in your breath, that's gold. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's honest. That's the moment that your body is telling you something vulnerable is happening here. And the fact that you noticed it instead of bulldozing past it is a huge step forward. So it said, let's take that breath and slow it down for a second. That reflex is a boundary response. Your nervous system is asking, it's checking, is this safe? Am I expected to perform something that I can't give? Am I being seen in a way that I'm not ready for? This response makes sense. So I was like, okay, that's great. Can you actually help me like work through a specific comment? So I copied and pasted a comment and I was like, help me work through like where I'm expecting that they're expecting more from me than not. So ChatGPT said, step 1, recognize what's not being asked. This comment isn't demanding. It's not testing you. It's not asking you to mirror them or prove anything. It's just expressing resonance, and that's all. There's an invitation here and not an expectation. So just let that sink in. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. I'll let that sink in. And then step 2, pause and receive it, not with your reply brain, but rather think, like internalize that this is safe. I don't have to match them. I just have to honor what was being shared, And then craft a response from my center, not from pressure. So make sure that I'm centered before I respond, like make sure that I'm feeling good. Like this is how I would naturally respond if no one was expecting anything from me. So that was all really helpful, but I was like, let's go deeper. I was like, ChatGPT, I'm still not feeling it in my nervous system. Like what you're saying makes sense, but I still am not getting it on a nervous system level. My nervous system still doesn't feel safe with this. So I was like, help me with this particular thing. ChatGPT, you said this comment isn't demanding, it's not testing you, it's not asking you to mirror or prove anything, it's just experiencing resonance, that's all. I told him, I was like, I feel like I know ChatGPT is not a him, but it's just easier to say that than say ChatGPT every time I reference it. So I told him, I was like, I feel like in the future, I won't be able to remember your exact advice for how to process, but if I can just work through the shadow and get to the root of why this is triggering me, then I can just adopt a new way of being. I can heal it and then adopt a new way of being so I don't have to memorize the process that you're giving me, right? Because my memory is not great for like processes, but if I can just heal it, then I can just be a new way and don't have to remember to be a certain way, right? So this part I feel like is going to apply to many people, not just me in this particular scenario. So think of this like, why does it feel, if you feel that hesitance, like when people give you a compliment or people try to reach out and connect with you and you feel that like hesitance, that like what's being expected of me, I think that this is a root shadow that's going to help a lot of people. So what's the shadow here? The shadow is the part of us that learned that somewhere along the way, love is not safe unless I know exactly how to respond to it. If someone sees me and loves me, they might want something from me. If I don't respond right, they'll feel disappointed and I'll be the cause of that pain. To deserve affection, I must earn it or give something back. Oof, right? That reciprocation, that transaction. And I love what ChatGPT said here. They said, that's a child's logic, a brilliant, adaptive child, a child who watched the energy in the room and learned how to be exactly what other people needed them to be in order to avoid disappointment, rejection, and emotional chaos. And that part of you, that part that still runs this reflex, it's not bad. It's just protective and it's just tired. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is what's coming up for me. It's not that I don't want to respond to the comments. It's not that I don't want to make connections. It's not that I don't enjoy it. And it's not that I'm even scared that there's going to be a bad or mean comment. I work in customer service for the last 15 years. I've dealt with cranky jerks and less than nice people. Like, I'm not scared of it, but there's something scarier in my nervous system that's afraid. And it's this reflex. It's this reflex of that I have to contort myself to be acceptable in order to avoid disappointment, rejection, or emotional chaos. And it's tired. It's tired of having to do this. And so let's go heal the part of me that's overprotective and tired so that I don't have to be overprotective anymore. And I won't be so tired in my nervous system showing up to connecting with people. So ChatGPT asked 4 main questions, and I'll list them on the screen because I think they're very helpful journaling, things to journal. So I'll, here, I don't want to blind you by this backlight. Hang on, let me move that. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to move over here and I'm going to list these 4 different questions that ChatGPT had. So if you want to journal about them, if this is resonating with you and you're like, yes, my nervous system is tired of being so overprotective, of not being able to let in good things because I'm afraid of what's expected of me, these might be 4 really good journal prompts for you. So 1, when did I first start feeling like love or kindness came with strings? This could be things like thinking of think of times where you were praised or got compliments or gifts or people seeing you deeply. Like, when did you first feel like love or kindness came with strings? And then 2, what happened? And you can pause the video if you need more time. 2, what happened when I didn't respond correctly to someone's affection or attention? Was there guilt? Was there withdrawal? Was there anger? Was there silence? Number 3, what did I learn that it meant about being loved? Did it mean performing? Did it mean being good? Did it mean staying small? Did it mean that I have to give back even more? And 4, the 4th question, what do I fear will happen if I don't mirror someone's emotion or appreciation? Do I fear disconnection? Do I fear being unworthy or being seen as unworthy? Do I fear being misunderstood? These were excellent journal prompts, and I responded to all of them, and I responded in the chat so that way ChatGPT could mirror back to me what it was that I was experiencing and feeling. So I'm not going to get into all that, what my responses were and everything, but because I think it's going to be more helpful for you anyways to do the reflection yourself and to know what your answers are, because that's what's going to help you heal, right? So the new belief after all that, now you're like, okay, I've seen the hurt inner child. I've seen the protector version of myself that's just trying to keep me safe. And so has a hard, don't give me things because I don't have the energy to reciprocate or try to predict what's going to happen to keep us safe. So now we can have a new belief. We can anchor in this new belief. And this new belief is I have it written on a Post-it, or sorry, not a Post-it, a flashcard, note card, so that when this feeling comes up, I can look at it and I'm like, wait, this is my new belief. And I don't feel like it's emotional bypassing because I've done the work of understanding what's in the shadow, what's at the root cause of this. And now I can, I've done that, I've healed it. And if that feeling comes up, that agitation again, I can self-soothe it. I can remind myself that I am safe. And then I can repeat this new affirmation to me because I know that I'm stepping into a new version of me. And I don't have to run this old programming that causes me to self-sabotage. I can adopt a new way of being because I've seen what's deep and hurt underneath it. And I've looked at it and I've healed it, right? So this new belief can be, I can receive kindness without needing to earn it. It being seen is safe now, and I do not owe a performance to be loved. That was a key phrase, and I actually typed it back to ChatGPT and was like, I think this is the root cause of it, that love equals performance, and failure to perform equals rejection, disappointment, judgment, and disconnection. So where this all started from was episode 1 had the emotional flashback from the complex PTSD episode. where I had read a comment and like, right, this is like the same trigger that's coming up now. I read a comment and realized that people might be perceiving me in a different way than I am meaning to come across. And that was very scary because the core wound is love equals performance. If I'm not performing the way people need me to be, if I'm not contorting to their expectations, or if they're not perceiving my motivations correctly, love will be withdrawn or withheld, or people will get angry. And that's very scary in my nervous system. And all those things might happen anyways, and still a couple days from now, I might post a video and that might happen. But my nervous system is now aware that the core wound was thinking that I had to perform to people's expectations in order to receive love. So in the future, if there are comments that are not loving and I'm not receiving love, that old wound may surface and I might feel like scared, but I'm like, wait, no. That's not the programming that I'm going by now. That's not my new belief system. That was old programming where in order to be safe, I needed to perform in order to get love. But those things don't equate each other now. And I can just be me and be safe in that. So the last 6 weeks was me reclaiming from that first episode. Then the next second episode of this video series was me going camping and being around people who do see me, and it's very nourishing. And I see them. It's just like a beautiful mutual connection. Going into a workplace where I'm not seen in that way and it hurts. It's not triggering the same wound, but it's like, I just don't want this anymore. Episode 3 was being around people who I knew a long time ago and their way of being. It's not the way that I want to be anymore. And it triggered this feeling of like, there must be something invalid about me because I am not the same as them. And so then that was like a reasserting that I am valuable the way that I am. And I get to confirm that belief now. And I made all those affirmations and I don't know if I've posted those affirmation videos yet or not, but affirmation videos having to do with that is something that I created out of that hurt, and that healing process. And now my art of expressing that this is who I am and it's okay to be different. And anyone else who feels that way can see that and feel that as well by listening to those videos. And so in this episode, this is talking about just what I said like 2 days ago, coming to this realization. It's come full circle now. And I realized what that original wound was that set off this whole thing, this whole experience of needing to heal and like go through the shadow and understand myself and reclaim my value and my worth, is that original wound of feeling like I have to perform. I obviously was not performing correctly for this person because they didn't perceive me correctly, perfectly. And so then that triggered the inner critic that was like really pissed off at my inner child. Like, why are you being vulnerable and exposing us and making videos and talking about things that you believe and things that the way that you are when it's so different? And maybe it's not even that different, but just like it's exposing that core wound of feeling different and feeling not validated for it. Like, not that I have to be validated for being different, but that I'm different and that's okay. That deserves validation, just like being another way deserves validation, right? Like, it's no different. Both deserve validation. So it's like this full circle process of being like, oh, wow, okay, that's what this whole thing was about. So yeah, that was 2 days ago. I went through that. I realized how full circle it all came. So now I think we're like in Leo season, and Mercury retrograde happened like 2 or 3 days ago. And so, which is all about like reclaiming your value and sense of self-worth. So like this all brings me full circle back to my introduction video where I talked about healing, how healing is not linear. You're not backsliding. You're not self-sabotaging. Healing looks like this: ups, downs, emotional whiplash, back and forth, highs, lows. And sometimes time is a component in that healing as well, right? Like if I had tried to do just this shadow work of like reclaiming my value and like understanding this core wound on that day that I had the emotional flashback, or like after that had subsided, I don't think that there's no way I could have picked up all of those moments along the way that happened with the camping and the going back to work and the coworker and the Seattle trip and the like having to like see that my way of being is just as valid as any other person's way of being. And like all these things had to accumulate. I had to accumulate those experiences that happened because time went by and energies shifted and things happened. And like all of this had to happen for me to fully bring in and ground and embody what it feels like to claim my value and worth. And I don't think that can happen in just like one short little shadow work journaling session. Had I done that on that day that I got, the emotional flashback or something, it's just a part of the healing process and how healing takes time and moves through it. And in my introduction video, I said, when we self-sabotage or when we backslide, often people want to focus on the external, how do we can like create a process so you never lose motivation again. And I just don't think that's the way. I don't think bulldozing your way through till make yourself do it is necessarily the way that's going to be like allow you to stay consistent. Rather, can we go into the time where we want to be in the quiet, we want to be alone, we don't want to show ourselves anymore, we want to get to know ourselves better, we go into the subconscious, into the shadow, and we feel the things that we have not want to felt like the things that we didn't want to feel when we were young because we couldn't, right? Like if we didn't have people guiding us through this, like look how much time it took me 6 weeks to go through this, the support of ChatGPT, all these experiences. I've done 6 years of shadow work, emotional healing, and inner child work. There's no way that little 4-year-old or 7-year-old me could have done all this without help. And my caregivers didn't know how to do it for themselves, so how could they help me do it? Like it just, how, like we can't blame ourselves for what we didn't know back then. And look at how hard it is for us as full-grown adults to try to do this for ourselves now. It's just like this process is so like sacred and special and needed. And I really think that this is the key to helping ourselves when we go through times where we're like, why am I just not getting it? Why am I not able to move forward? I think, if we uncover the stuff that's down in the deep where we've been scared to look, we're going to find the healing there. So yeah, I'm going to wrap up this video here. If you followed this whole series, this like Confessions of an Alchemist series, thank you for following, like, and watching and like taking in the story and just hearing it, like it's enough that you just witnessed it, like, yay, I'm doing my thing and people are seeing it and like it feels good and I'm okay and I'm safe in that. And until next time, you guys have a wonderful day, rest of your week, and thank you for being here. Bye.